Hey man, it's your boy Ink in the Brain, man. We back at it like a bad habit. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in. You know, if you like the video, please hit the like button. It helps with the algorithm, put the message out there. Because I know there's a youngster out there that's running around, running reckless, and he might need to see this. It might change his life, man. So hit the like button. All right, so if you haven't peeped my previous episodes, I'm taking y'all through my experience, going through the Department of Corrections. I was sentenced to 2 years. I just got off parole a couple weeks ago. So, I'm just putting my experience out there. This is through the lens of a short timer. Luckily I didn't have to do crazy time, no 10 years or no decades or anything like that, but it could have easily turned out that way for me. So I'm putting my experiences out there for y'all to learn. And this is for educational purposes only. This is not to glorify prison or jail, the streets, or nothing like that, because there's nothing cool about jail or prison. There's nothing cool about being taken away from your family. There's nothing cool about having to eat, crappy food with high sodium and all that stuff once you get to the yard. And that's considered premier eating. That's considered, a delicacy. That is crazy. But that's another story for another day. So I'm touching on, just doing time with shooters. Even though I wasn't down for too long, I did time with a lot of shooters. And if you haven't peeped my previous episode, part 1, I talked about the young J4. Now, in doing time with shooters part 2, I'm going to discuss doing time with X. Again, if you don't know who X is, then you need to watch my previous videos and you'll get an idea. All right, so boom. So we in the cell now. We in the big cell. We in the cell with like 20 people in there, and it's some people on the floor. Me and the 3 other people I was with in the previous cell. We on the floor now. So we in this big cell. The first few days everything pretty smooth. We just chopping it up for the most part. Like I said, everybody from California that I was in the cell with, we all kind of got pretty close pretty quick just because it's easy for somebody, like if you're from Cali and Arizona, it's kind of easy to have a camaraderie with your fellow Californians in the joint, right? So, I want to say by day 3 in there, we started doing cell workouts. I'm going to do a different video on that, but I just want to point out because X was, working out with us. Now, X, he was 6'1", I think he said, 6'1", 196, I want to say, or 6'1", 201. I forget, but he was like either right below 200 or like barely above 200. And Brody was solid, like he was cut up, not like hella big, but he was big though. You could tell he put in work on that yard working out. And so when we would do our workouts, I would see him going crazy. He just used to inspire me, cause he was a youngster, he still is young. Like now I think X is 23. He got locked up when he was like 19. So he ended up getting 7.5 years, but I'll touch on that here shortly. But so, he going crazy in the cell. And we actually had a push-up contest between X and one of the dudes, one of my cellies ended up being my cellie when I hit the 3-yard Boogie, right? And his story is interesting too, and I'll talk about him as well. But because they were like super beasts working out in the cell. Like you would basically say they're like the 2 beastiest people in the cell that was working out, right? So we're like, man, X, can you do 100 push-ups, bro? He like, yeah, man, I got faith in myself. I believe in myself. He didn't really say yeah all the time. He was like, I believe in myself. And then we like, Boogie, what's up, man? You do 100 pull-up or 100 push-ups? And he was like, yeah, I can knock it out. Boogie was real quiet, kind of had some mental issues, but again, that's another story for another day. So yeah, all right. So they beasted it out. I think X, he hit like 90 something. Like he didn't quite hit the 100, but he was almost there. And then Boogie hit like 106. So I'm like, damn, I'm like, so you got this youngster in here who 23, you know, he's a straight beast, but real humble though, and he had hands too, but real humble youngster, man. I really liked X, just his demeanor and the way that he, just the way he carried himself was real respectable for a youngster, because I can't tell you how many times I came across youngsters in the joint who just kind of felt like they had something to prove, so they always on go for no reason, and it's like to some degree you're always gonna be on go in the pen, depending on what yard you on. But some youngsters I felt like kind of took it too far with that shit, and but X wasn't like that, and you know, and he would really push us, like when we working out. Like I remember when we would do abs, we would do weighted leg lifts. So we'd be sitting on the ground and then clutching on the bed, and then lift your legs up like that, and then he would have his arms on your legs, putting pressure on it. So you kick it up and he'd push it down. So and I remember when I was doing my sets and he was doing, I was like, I'm like, bro, I'm dead. I can't keep going. He like, nah, fuck that. Keep going. You feel me? So he was really pushing me to the mat. And one morning I went to rec, because normally I didn't go to rec, because like I said, rec was like at 5:30 in the morning. It was hella cold outside. This is 2 years ago, this time of the year. So, and you out there in shower shoes. So I'm not going out there with shower shoes on. But basically, all the brothers, they told me like, nah, you gotta hit rec this next morning, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'll hit rec with y'all. So I go to rec with them, and with X particularly, because J4 wasn't really working out like that. Now we did push him to work out, and then he started to work out and do burpees with us and stuff too. But it was really just me and X this particular morning we worked out, right? So we hit the yard, it's hella early in the morning, and we go to the pull-up bar. Now, if y'all peep my workout videos on my channel, which I'll keep doing, I'm a straight beast at pull-ups and push-ups now. Like now I can do 250 pull-ups easy in a day, like simple, easy mathematics. But back then, you know, I was just doing push-ups, so my strength wasn't really all the way up to par yet. So, man, so we do 10 down, right? So we doing 10 down, me and X. And whenever I say 10 down or 30 down, like in my future videos, it pertains to working out. So it's your reps. So it's 10, 9, 8. So 10 down is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, all the way down to 1. 30 down is the same thing, 30, 29, 28, all the way down to 1. So these are very high intensity reps, real high reps, right? It's gonna get you bulk, it's gonna get you straight, cut up. It's gonna put that muscle, it's gonna get your muscle memory on, your strength up, right? Real quick, right? So X do 10, perfect form, he knock out 10, and then I'm up next. I'm like, this dude is a beast, right? So I get up on the pull-up bar, you know, I do 10, but I'm struggling. Like once I get to like 7, I'm like trying to wiggle and, you know, force myself up. And then and X, he just kind of laughing. I'm like, bro, I don't know, I can't. But I'm like, bro, I don't know if I can do this. He's like, bro, quit saying that. Yes, you can. And then so then he do his 9, and then I do the 9. But I'm struggling down to 1, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I'm hella struggling down to 1. But we get done with the pull-ups, and then we I think we do some abs, and then we do the push-ups on the bars, on the bottom bar. Like there's I'm not gonna get into that, but we do push-up stuff on the bars too, on the yard. So we work out for like a good like 30, 40 minutes. Everybody else is pretty much like getting their meal, because like I said, when you go to rec, you can get your mail items. So you can get like a piece of paper, envelope, and like a little pencil, a little golf pencil. But they make you use it outside. They don't let you bring the pencil inside, right? Even though they ended up sneaking us a pencil on the inside, but that's neither here nor there. In prison, somebody always sneaking in something. But yeah, so I'm like, all right, X is a beast. And then, you know, we get back in the cell, and as the days progress, you know, because you're going to chop it up with everybody you with, so you're going to share your story from the streets and stuff. So, You know, he's telling us about stories on how he's on the streets knocking people out and stuff like that. But like I said, real humble though. He was real humble. You would never knew that he was, you feel me? You would never even knew he was a shooter, to be honest with you. And I remember, he mentioned he had caught an aggravated assault charge, but they charged him dangerous. And like I said in the previous video with mine, they did the same thing to me. They tried to charge me with dangerous previously, but I got it dropped to non-dangerous, thank God. Because if you get charged with dangerous aggravated assault, that's like really bad. First of all, you can't get it off your record. You can't get it expunged, and you can't get your gun rights back or anything like that. So you catch a dangerous aggravated assault, it's a wrap. You're not getting your gun rights back. They're always going to classify you as a violent felon. You're not going to get off your record, things like that. So I'm like, damn, I always just thought maybe he beat somebody up really bad or used a weapon to beat somebody up or something like that. But he shot somebody, right? So this is what happened, right? And I said this in the previous video, and I'll say it again. I'm going to keep on saying it. Y'all youngsters out here playing with these guns in the streets, you running around, you know what I mean? You might be shooting people, you might be robbing people, you might have shot somebody and got away with it, or you might have even caught a body and got away with it, right? But I promise you, if you keep on doing that, you will get caught. And when you get caught, you're going to get hanged in the prison system, bro. They're going to put you behind the walls for a long time. But this is what happened to X, right? This is the case. So he doing his thing in the streets, and he robbing drug dealers and things like that, right? And this particular time, him and two of his partners went to go hit a lick on this Mexican dude. So they go down there at night, and basically the lick goes wrong. And when the lick goes wrong, gunfire gets exchanged. So the way the X said it was, well, I'll cut that part out. Basically, what happened was they bust in the residence. Dude wasn't going for it, so dudes start busting, right? But they run out. They didn't even get to work or nothing. They run out, and then when they run out, the dude busted through the wall and shit. And then one of X's partners he was with got hit. So when X's partner got hit, he started dumping through the door where the bullets was coming out, and he hit dude. I guess the bullet had penetrated. I don't know if the bullet penetrated the door to hit the dude that they was robbing, or if the bullet penetrated the door and it hit X's partner. I can't remember that part. But basically, long story short, the lick went wrong. They didn't get everything they came for, and ex partners got hit. One of them got hit, and the victim that they went to rob got hit. And then, so they get outside, and they run to the car, and they start panicking because their brody is hit, right? So X is like, he tell them to go to take him to the he tell one of the driver to take him to the hospital, and then X was gonna sit there with the gun, like, cause he had the gun still, but basically X was like, man, take him to the hospital, and I'll stay here pretty much, like with the gun, I guess. And then I guess one thing led to another. They ended up getting caught for it. You feel me? And went down for it. So that's what happened. You feel me? He basically busted back to help save his friend who got hit. You know what I'm saying? In a robbery gone bad. So X was facing a good amount of time for that, but there was some intricate details. Like I said, I won't really go too far. Just use your brain. You know, you rob a drug dealer shoots back, police is called, then you can kind of figure out why X was able to get a little bit of leeway on this case with that. You know what I mean? Just use your brain. If you back the way, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so we ended up getting 7.5 years. You know what I mean? That was his deal. 7.5 aggravated assault with a deadly weapon with a classification of dangerous. So, but he was walking his time down. You know, he was doing his thing on the yard, and you know, when we up in the cell, because like I said, the reason why he came to reception is because he got a page 2. And a page 2 is like if you're locked up and you're incarcerated on one case, but then you pop up in another case or you get indicted on a different case, what they're going to do is they're going to send you back to intake for you to fight that other case and resolve that. You know what I mean? So you might get them run concurrent, so that way when you get out, that other case is resolved with your current case, or they might have to run you consecutive. So after you're done with this bid, then you're going to have to do the next bid after that. But they ran his concurrent. So that was the reason why X was in there from the get-go. So X is in there, he came from the 3R, so, I'm asking him questions about prison life, what to expect and things like that. So we just chopping it up and he was like, he had a ton of store, right? He had a ton of commissary back on the yard he was with, but he didn't know how long he was going to be gone. Because when they page 2 you and they send you back off to intake, it ain't really no telling when you gonna be back. So he was saying like, yeah, man, I got like $120 worth of store or something like that. The Mexican homie's holding it for me, and this and that, man. And then I'm like, dang. And then as days go by, we in there for, like I said, we in our hammer for hella long. As days go by, I'm like, damn, X. I'm like, you sure they ain't gonna take your commissary for you, bro? They gonna take your bag? He was like, nah, hell no. They had a good relationship with X though, but nah, I know they wasn't gonna take X stuff though. X was solid. He wouldn't be going for that anyway. But yeah, so I was talking with X, man. I'm gonna leave it at this, right? Doing time with shooters. There's 2 different types of shooters in the joint. You got shooters who was shooters on the streets, but they were actually fighters. Like they're not quick to grab a gun and shoot you. So you got those kind of shooters, or you got the shooters that can't fight, you feel me? Or they don't like fighting and they rather get a gun and just shoot you rather than fight. 2 completely different people, 2 completely different mindsets. Because there's no guns in the penitentiary, y'all. So you ain't gonna have no Glock with a 40 with a 30 on it. You know what I mean? You're not gonna have no 9mm in the joint. If somebody tells you to go get your gun in the joint, they mean go get your knife. Meaning we're gonna have a knife fight. So if you hear go get your gun in the joint, that's not a good situation you want to be in. You know what I'm saying? And X was one of those shooters who didn't have a problem with putting hands on you if he had to. I'll put it like that. You know what I'm saying? Real humble dude, but he definitely had them hands, man. And I just want to point that out because in the future I'm going to point out two situations on top of my head where shooters in real life didn't really live up to their name in the joint. I'll just put it like that. But hey, it's your boy Ink in the Brain, man. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on the next one. Y'all be smooth and be solid.